So here's a little change that Taylor has done that may have flown under the radar in 2022, a year that there's a ton of new guitars coming out, new body styles, new wood pairings, all of that. The 300 series that have mahogany tops, that'll be your 324, which I've got here, 322, 327, finally have matching all mahogany back and sides. You might not have known that that was not the case for a little bit, but it is now. Let's talk about it. How's it going, y'all? This is Cooper Greenberg at Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, check out the Patreon and the podcast, text us your questions, all that stuff. We're trying to find every single way that you guys can look at us more. But I'm just joking there. I got the 324 CE in my hands. And if I look a little shiny, it's because it's hot in here. And I just got back from the NAMM show in California, which we will talk plenty about in the weeks to come in videos and in the podcast and all that. And it was very, very cool. Literally, it was super cool down there. It was a high of like 72. And I just got back yesterday, and it's like 104. And our AC is not working right now. But at least it's humid, so you know all the Taylor guitars have got a nice humidity control going on. And I wanted to talk about this today because we finally got some of these in. 324 that has been updated with the mahogany back and sides. And I think it's worth talking about, one, because that's a really nice upgrade that I think is getting a little less attention, but also because I got to play a ton of really cool NAMM exclusive Taylor guitars, stuff that I know we'll be getting very soon. And that will probably overshadow a minor change like this. So while we have the opportunity, let's talk about the 300 series. So 300 series is comprised of, say, your 314, 314s, 312s, guitars that have spruce tops as denoted by the 1 in the middle. Anything with a 2 in the middle of the model number, 324, 322, 327, will have mahogany tops. Now, you've also got 8022s, another somewhat new mahogany model, mahogany top model, and your GTE mahogany. Now, it may surprise you to know that up until recently, the only one of those guitars that was all solid mahogany was the GTE mahogany. Tropical mahogany back and sides and top. The rest of them, including the 324 CE Builders Edition, that still has a different back and sides wood, if I'm not mistaken. But anything in that standard 300 series with a mahogany top did have Tasmanian Blackwood back and sides. Like I said, the 324 CE Builders, that actually has mahogany top but urban ash back and sides, and the 8022E had sapele back and sides. All of those will give you the same kind of tonality that you're looking for. So this might be a change that makes no difference to you because sapele is going to sound really close to mahogany. The urban ash is going to sound mahogany-esque, maybe not as close as sapele would. And Tasmanian Blackwood, also known for its warmth and mid-range, which are the same properties that we go to for mahogany. We've talked about how mahogany top, since it's a hardwood, it's got a ton of like natural compression, really nice warmth, and the mid-range monster, the LaMarcus Aldridge, the DeMar DeRozan. But having a different back and sides wood will EQ it a little bit differently. So you're coming out the gate with a lot of nice warmth and mid-range, but say for instance with your previous 324, the series did start with mahogany. It was changed to the Tasmanian Blackwood somewhere along the way, and that does give a little more of that sparkle and high end. Might be preferable for some people. But my opinion on this is that if you're going to go all mahogany, you go all mahogany and you get the tone that is captured by those classic, that's the sound that you want when you get a mahogany top. Why would you have anything else on the back and sides? We've done some comparisons with, say, the 8027 recently up against like a D15M, Martin's all mahogany version. This would be pretty comparable to, say, a 0015M, which we've compared to the 8022. Throwing a lot of models out there. If you're familiar with Martin and Taylor, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you're not, what I'm getting at here is that all mahogany guitars, especially in this price range, this is, besides the American Dream series, 300 is where you get into American-made Taylors. It is probably the most popular series and maybe my personal favorite because no frills, it's just all solid wood, made in America, and classic wood pairings. I think it's very, very smart for them to put mahogany on the back and sides. This is an all solid mahogany guitar, even down to the Tropical Mahogany neck, and all the appointments match it so well. That's another thing that we've talked about with these other all mahogany, whether they are or they're mahogany and one of its cousins. Most of them are pretty unadorned guitars. 8027 from the American Dream series is meant to be totally wood and sound forward. It's all solid, it's made in America, but no binding, it's got chamfered edges, it's very, very basic. When you go over to Martin, the 0015M, no binding, it's supposed to be a very understated guitar. This is still understated, but you have some of those Taylor appointments that make it look like a Taylor, make it look like how Taylor fans want their guitars to look, just with the attention to detail of the black binding, the black and white rosette, the black satin Taylor tuners. It is very classic looking, very understated, but you still have a few of those nice little touches, really pretty inlay that's, again, subtle, but it works. So it's nice to have something, especially in this price range, where you're getting all solid mahogany, you get the tone, it's got an ES2 in it, it's got a cutaway, so it's wholeheartedly a Taylor guitar, but it does not have sapele, nor urban ash, nor Tasmanian Blackwood. This is all mahogany. It's a welcome change in my book. I want you guys to hear it. I would compare it to the previous Blackwood mahogany model, but we do not have any of those in stock, and all of them that we get from this day forward will be all mahogany. It's good change. Let's hear how it sounds with a few different styles, and we'll talk about it on the other end. There you have it, the new, old but new, reintroduced, subtly updated 324 CE. Once we get the 22 in, we're going to give you an example of that one. Mahogany is, you know, with Taylor guitars, we're used to figured koa and flame maple and all that stuff that's beautiful to look at and sounds great. Mahogany is often a very straight-grained, you know, I'd say not fancy flamed figure. I'm trying to find the democratic word for that. But this happens to be really pretty back on this one. It looks classic, but you still got beautiful striping, and it's awesome. Taylor Guitars has done a lot in the past since their inception, but especially in the last few years with teaching us about new tone woods, finding the prettiest examples of existing tone woods, and stuff like urban ash is a really genius move by Taylor to use wood that would not be used for guitars, find its sonic properties, and employ it in the correct way. But they're also not, I mean, they're guitar fans, and they know that people want all mahogany guitars and don't want a mahogany top with something like mahogany on the back and sides, especially when you're paying into the 300 series. You know that you are right at or above $2,000, and I think there's a lot of value, even if you go side by side and you hear a version with Blackwood and mahogany, and you know you cannot hear the difference. I think there is a difference, but there's also some weight in the fact that it's all mahogany. Now, I have to say a couple things. One, every single 324 that we get, like I said, will be all mahogany. JR, I know that you're watching the video, or I hope you are. It still says Tasmanian Blackwood on the website, okay? I'm just saying, go fix it. If it's fixed by the time this video is going out and getting published, just know, it's on the record that on this day, it's June 6th, it says Blackwood, but I know for a fact that every single one of these that we've gotten, and everyone that's going out, is mahogany. Other thing, besides the ribbing, I had a fantastic time hanging out with Taylor over the last weekend. The amount of things that are to come, especially just from the NAMM exclusive models, small modifications on things that we already love that I'm just extremely excited for. But just hearing, you know, recently Andy Powers was moved to CEO and president of Taylor Guitars. Awesome move, because I got to actually meet the dude and talk to him and shake his hand, and a ton of people from JR and, you know, from marketing and from other sales reps from different territories. It's something really special to see from the ground up how all these people believe in these guitars. They know everything about them, and they know so much more about us and our store than I ever thought was possible. So I can't say enough about how good that interaction was and how much fun I had. We're going to have some really cool custom things coming soon from the Catch event that I'm just super excited about, but I know that if I bring them up, Chris McKee, who was not there with me at the NAMM show, will get even more upset that he's going to miss out on the introduction and first mention of those things. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be very cool. But in the meantime, Taylor's not just creating new body styles, finding new tone woods, and doing custom guitars that are flashier than anything I've ever seen. They are constantly retooling and improving on tried and true models that would still be bestsellers if they did or didn't make a tone wood change. I think that all mahogany is a great change. We've used the Blackwood version in a ton of videos that I can link below if you do want to hear some older demos of that one. But I really think that the style that I was playing today, just strumming some chords and then finger picking, it's what all mahogany is for, and it's a warm sound, a classic sound, and really plays into, one, the playability factor and the bright and beautiful high end of these guitars. It counters that with so much low end and mid range that it's just a really balanced, really nice sound. And so I think it's a winner. If you want to learn more, hear about the specs, everything else for the most part is going to be exactly like a normal 324. It's still V-class bracing, it's still the ES2 and all that, but same scale length, nut width. Everything you know about the guitar is the same except for the woods, and it's an upgrade. So take a look at the website, go to Taylor's website. I'm sure they have plenty of demos, and I'm sure by the time that this video has come out, they've made a change on the website that now says all mahogany. But thank you to Taylor for treating us so well this last weekend. Thank you to y'all for watching and being interested in this stuff that I love to geek out about. Like I said, subscribe to the channel because all that, the stuff I'm teasing is going to come sooner than later. So I'm getting excited for it. I think y'all will love it, and we'll see you next time.